Probably better if you just forget what you heard.
Is there anything I can do to improve my chances?
Make it happen, or I go to Curtis with everything I know.
It's not whether I can handle Sidwell, it's whether Sidwell can handle me.
General Hospital latest update. Willow's world shatters as she catches Drew in a compromising scene with Jacinda, thanks to Nina's twisted plan. Meanwhile, Carly stuns Jason with a deadly Sunny revelation, and Lulu sees a scandalous headline in Drew's drugged antics. Secrets, schemes, and shockers explode in Port Charles. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital, Willow's horrifying Drew discovery, Carly shocks Jason. General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, April 30th, reveal that Willow Corinthos will make a horrifying Drew Kane discovery while Carly Spencer shocks Jason Morgan. Nina Reeves will also struggle with some regrets, so here's what General Hospital fans will see next. For starters, Portia Robinson will report back to Nina and insist her plan to hire Jacinda was pure genius. Drew went wild at the Savoy and got caught on camera doing body shots off Jacinda, so Portia will make more positive predictions about their scheme. Although part of Nina will remain glad about driving Drew and Willow apart, another part of her will struggle with regrets on Wednesday's show. Portia will be there to remind Nina that Drew left them no choice, but Nina will still worry about Willow's imminent heartache. Willow will come home from her trip to Germany, so a horrifying discovery will be waiting on her when she does. It looks like Willow will find Drew and Jacinda in a compromising position, just like Nina planned. Jacinda will make it seem like Drew slept with her, but Drew will be fuzzy on what happened last night due to the ketamine he was given. Willow's going to be crushed and furious, but Drew should eventually start to suspect he was drugged and set up. As for Curtis Ashford, he'll give Laura Collins updates on Drew's actions at the Savoy. Curtis will suggest that Laura's problem may have been solved by Drew himself since Drew's actions are going to reflect badly on him as well as his allies. Next, Lulu Spencer will ask if she can interview Alexis Davis, so they may end up talking about Alexis reconnecting with Sam McCall later in life and the baggage of her Cassadine family history. At the hospital, Trina Robinson will have some last-minute concerns about Kai Taylor moving ahead with his risky surgery. Although Trina will remind Kai that he can stop this at any time, he may insist he's all in and hold out hope that he can ultimately play football again. Following Carly's trip to Los Angeles, she'll fill Jason in on what almost happened to Sunny Corinthos. If Brick had shown up 5 seconds later, Sunny would have been a goner. Carly will share that shocking news with Jason and hear Jack Brennan's theory, so we'll see if Brennan suspects Jen Sidwell is behind the hits or someone else. General Hospital spoilers say Carly will hope that the culprit responsible for these attempts on Sunny's life can be taken down for good. Today's next update. A drugged Drew makes a public spectacle of himself, and Lulu hopes he'll land her a front-page story. Today on General Hospital, Anna questions Emma about Dalton, Nina and Portia put their plan into action, and Drew strikes a deal with Tracy. Joss walks into the Savoy and sees Anna at the bar with Dalton. Professor Dalton, Hank, tells Anna that he transferred to PCU from the Bay Area. Anna asks why he transferred, and he explains that PCU made him a generous offer for his research in environmental physics. He asks how he ended up in her line of work. She calls it a long story, and one she doesn't want to go into on a rare night off for her. Dalton asks what she'd like to talk about. Anna spots Jordan with Curtis, and thinks her ladies' night has been cancelled, so she's going to head home. Hank asks for her phone number to take her out sometime, but she calls the town very small, and says they're bound to run into one another. Anna takes off, and Joss swoops in to take her seat. Cody meets up with Lulu and apologizes for being late, but he was kicked by a horse. She wouldn't have asked him out if he was hurt, but he is glad for any reason to get out, as he doesn't exactly have a social life. Jordan and Curtis continue to chat, and Curtis says he'll always care about her, and going after Sidwell is a big deal. She tells him that it's not a question of whether she can't handle Sidwell, but whether Sidwell can handle her. Nina and Portia put Operation Drug Drew into motion. In her office, Portia talks to Nina over the phone. Nina has the ketamine. They just have to decide when and where to set their trap. Portia hangs up when Drew shows up making demands. He's sick of her failing to deliver, but she says it's not easy to change Curtis's mind about him. Drew has a new idea. He wants her to convince Curtis to use Aurora to support the referendum taking Sonny's peers. She says Curtis is friends with Laura, but Drew doesn't care. She needs to get him results, or he will blow her dirty secret. At Nina's place, she meets with Jacinda and gives the ketamine to use on Drew. Jacinda says ketamine can be dangerous, but Nina says it's pharmacy grade and pure. She wants Drew to have a night he will never remember, but one that all of Port Charles will never forget. Tracy talks bad about Sonny to Gio. At the Quartermain mansion, Gio asks what Sonny did to make Tracy want to hurt him. Tracy says Sonny has been a plague on this family for decades, and she presents Exhibit A as Jason walks in. Tracy tells Jason that she was just about to fill Gio in on the pain that Sonny has brought upon this family. Jason asks what prompted this, and Gio explains that Tracy supports taking Sonny's peers from him. Emma asks Tracy not to do this, and to consider it a favor paid for her saving her family's crypt from Drew. Drew's name sparks an idea for Tracy. In Portia's office, Drew takes a call from Tracy, who wants to discuss a matter of mutual interest, one that will be important to him. He tells her to meet him at the Port Charles Grill. He then tells Portia to make sure all of Aurora's media outlets run negative stories about Sonny, or else. He then walks out. Portia calls Nina back and lets her know that Drew went to meet Tracy at the Port Charles Grill. At Nina's, she gives Jacinda her instructions, and to return tomorrow for her final payment, and then she is to leave town and never look back. Portia later arrives at Nina's, and she and Nina think their plan will work. Nina knows this will break Willow's heart, but in the end, it will be worth it. Portia says after tonight, Drew's reputation will be mud and he will be out of both of their lives. Portia realizes she has to meet Curtis at the Savoy and runs off. Back at the Savoy, Lulu tells Cody the news that her adoption story is going to run in the Landview Banner. Cody calls adoption a topic near and dear to his heart. At their table, Curtis tells Jordan he knows she was always happiest undercover. Jordan admits her life has felt stagnant for the past few years, but stopping that guy from killing Isaiah reignited something in her. At the bar, Dalton tells Joss she is doing well so far but has a lot to catch up on. Joss is doing the work and really wants the summer research job. Dalton doesn't think it will happen, as someone who has been present all semester really deserves this opportunity. Joss asks if there is anything she can do to improve her chances. He tells her to just keep working hard. He doesn't want to discourage her, but has to be honest with her about her chances. He also suggests she do her best on the assignments, and there are plenty of other positions out there. Henry decides on that note to head out. Jason advises Gio. Back at the mansion, Drew and Emma are confused about Tracy working with Drew, whom she hates. Tracy can't take the risk of Sonny hurting anyone else in this family. As she walks out, she tells Jason she knows he's going to tell heartwarming stories about Sonny, so don't leave out what he did to AJ. Jason takes leave, and Emma decides to head out as well. Jason soon returns to answer Joe's questions. Jason thinks it's best for Gio to forget what Tracy said about AJ. Gio argues that if he won't tell him, he'll find someone who will. Jason explains that Sonny killed his brother. Gio doesn't believe him. Jason explains that Sonny walked in on AJ attacking Ava, and shot him to protect Ava. He wasn't there, and Sonny and the Quartermains have different accounts of what happened. He chooses to believe Sonny. Jason knows how Gio is feeling, and the QS tried to turn him against Sonny, too, but he wouldn't let them. Sonny has always been his friend, and he's generous and supportive. Gio feels the same way about his uncle. Jason says Gio needs to make his own decision about Sonny. Does he trust his instincts or listen to everyone else? Gio respects Tracy but has to trust his guy on Sonny. Jason assures him that Sonny will be okay, and he's faced more challenging situations before. Plus, Tracy aligning herself with Drew means she's already lost. Tracy and Drew make a deal. Tracy meets with Drew at the Port Charles Grill to discuss their mutual dislike for Sonny and forcing Sonny to take his criminal enterprise elsewhere. She thinks if they put their differences aside and join forces to convince Port Charles to vote against Sonny, they will win. Drew doesn't come cheap and wants the use of the Quartermain name back. Jacinda walks in, sits at the bar, and overhears a waiter place an order for a drink for Drew. Jacinda slips the K into his drink before the waiter takes it to him. Back at their table, Drew asks Tracy if they have a deal. His drink arrives, he downs it, and Tracy says that once Sonny is gone, he can reclaim the Quartermain name. She says working to get rid of Sonny proves he's worthy of the name, and they shake on it. Tracy makes her exit, and Jacinda saunters over and takes her seat. The drug starts to hit Drew, who thinks his drink is extra strong. Jacinda introduces herself, and he asks why she wants to join him. She thought he looked like someone she'd like to get to know, and he agrees he wants to get to know her. She calls this place dead, so he knows just the place for them. Marco and Lucas get unexpected company. At Café Sherry, Lucas and Marco go on a date to celebrate his new job and get to know one another. Marco assumes he wants to know about his dad, which doesn't make for a great conversation on a date. Just then, Jens walks in with Lucy. Lucas tips Marco off to his dad's presence, and Jens walks over, running into his son a lovely surprise. He introduces Marco to Lucy. Lucy welcomes him to Port Charles, and Jens tells the gentleman to have a good evening. Lucas guesses that now they have to talk about their dads. Lucas tells Marco the short story about his adopted parents, and later in life, he found his biological parents. Marco asks how they reacted to him coming out. Lucas says his dad was okay, but his mom took a bit longer to come around. He realizes she was initially worried for him, but she became his biggest protector. Marco says he was lucky, as his dad accepted him, but his mom couldn't and still can't. Lucas soon learns his mother is Natalia and his sister is Blaze, aka Allison. Marco explains that his parents divorced when he was young, he never had a relationship with his dad, and he was very close to his mom. When he came out as a teen, it changed everything, and he'll never forget the look on her face. Marco says that's when he reached out to his dad, who was supportive and became his rock. Lucas thanks him for talking about this with him. Marco thinks he brought the mood down, so he suggests they hit a club. Lucas says he's retired from dancing, but Marco won't take no for an answer. Across the room, Lucy tells Jens his son is as charming and as handsome as he is. Jens is excited to have his son living in the same town as him for once. Lucy can't believe Natalia never mentioned her son. She can't imagine a mother rejecting her son for being gay, and is so glad they fired her. Jens agrees, it's sad Natalia is robbing herself of a relationship with their son. Missing his son's childhood is his major regret. Lucy likes seeing this softer side of him, and he notes there are many sides to him. Emma and Anna talk about the professor. Emma meets up with Anna at the bistro. Emma has to pull an all-nighter for her environmental physics class. Anna says she met someone at the Savoy who she might know, a Professor Dalton. Emma notes that is her professor. Anna finds it interesting that he is from the Bay Area, and they both transferred to PCU at the same time. Emma says it's weird, but just a coincidence. Anna says there are no coincidences in her line of work, so does Emma have something to confess? Emma admits she deliberately got into Dalton's class, but only because he's well known. She insists it was just fate, and she has a chance at landing a job as his summer intern. Anna is proud and hugs her, but Anna's face seems doubtful. Emma also looks as if she could still be hiding something. Drew digs his grave. Portia arrives at the Savoy and finds Curtis with Jordan. Curtis explains he was congratulating Jordan on her new job. Jordan tells Portia about her new job, and Portia wishes her luck, especially in having to deal with Drew. Marco and Lucas walk in, and Lucas begins having flashbacks to his Magic Milo days. Marco promises they'll have fun. Joss rushes over, says hello to Lucas, who introduces her to Marco. Joss mouths to Lucas, he's hot. At their table, Lulu tells Cody he lucked out as Mac is a great guy. Cody knows, And seeing Mac with James gives him a glimpse of what he missed out on. Lulu seems a bit down as he mentions that, and he asks if she's okay, and he didn't mean to upset her. Drew then stumbles down the steps with Jacinda, drawing everyone's attention. He raves about how good Jacinda looks. He kisses her neck and hugs her, as Curtis says to Jordan and Portia that Drew seems to have forgotten he was banned from this place. Curtis wants to throw him out, but Portia points out that the very drunk Drew is making a fool of himself. Curtis says, "Let's let him bury himself." Drew calls for shots for everyone, and Jordan notes this will be a disaster for her new job with Sidwell. She's intent on getting Drew out of there and away from that woman. Cody tells Lulu he knew he was right about that son of a bitch. Lulu says Drew is going to land her a front-page story tomorrow. She pulls out her phone and begins filming. Drew tells Jacinda they need to do a body shot, when Jordan tries to intervene and tell Drew he's had enough for one night. Drew refuses to leave, says he's having fun, and then screams, "Body shots." He lifts Jacinda onto the bar, pours alcohol on her stomach, and slurps it up. Portia calls Nina to give her a very positive update, while everyone stares at Drew in disgust. On the next General Hospital, Willow returns home to something unpleasant. Brennan shares a theory. Thanks for watching, General Hospital fans. If you're loving the drama in Port Charles, smash that like button, drop your theories in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. More explosive updates are coming soon.